All right, so we're going to learn about the greatest common factors, GCF, right? Greatest common factors, GCF. Now, the greatest common factor is the greatest factor that is shared between the numbers, right? And for example, if I have let's suppose I want to find GCF, right? So GCF, the greatest common factor of 12 and 8, right? So what is the greatest factor that is shared between two numbers, 12 and 8? Well, we have two methods here. Let's try to use method number one, right? I got two ways how we do this. Method number one, right? And in this case, we're gonna find the factors of 12. We know that 12. We know that 12. We know that 12. Hang on a second. So we know that for 12, right? We know that the factors are like 1, right? We know 2, well, because 2 goes to 12 like 6 times. We can, 2 is, 12 is divisible by 2. And we can also have 3. We know that 12 over 3 is 4 because 3 goes to 12 4 times. We have 6. We have 4, which is in the next number. So we have 4. Now 4 goes to 12 3 times, right? And so on and so forth. We have 6. 6 goes to 12 twice, 2 times. And then we have 12. 12 goes to 12 once, right? So those are like the factors, right, of 12. We can do the same thing for 8, actually. We can do the same thing for 8. Now 8, sorry, got 8. So we got 1, we got 2, we got 4, and we got 8. And as you can see, the greatest common factor between 12 and 8, it's going to be 4. It's going to be 4, right? It's going to be 4, right? For method number 2, which is the one I prefer, actually, especially if you know the factors of numbers, the big factors there, so let's suppose I have I have 12. Well, we know that 12 is factors of 4 times 8. And we know that 8 is factors of 4 times 2. And obviously, the greatest common factor is going to be the greatest number that is shared between two numbers, which is going to be 4. All right? So let's suppose you don't know the factors of 12, which is 4 times 3. We can use the method of the prime number, the prime factorization of composite numbers we learned in one of our videos before. So for example, if you have, we know how we get 4 and 3 there. So we know that 12, right? It's if you divide it by 2, you're going to get 6. You divide it by 2, you're going to get 3. You're going to divide it by 3, you will get 1. So the prime factorization of 12, right? It's going to be 2 times 2 times 3. And we can do the same thing for 8, right? For 8, divided by 2, we're going to get 4. You divide it by 2, you're going to get 2. You divide it by 2, you're going to get 1, right? So the prime factorization of 8, it's 2 times 2 times 2. And as we can see, the greatest factors that is shared between two numbers, it's going to be, right here we have 2 and 2. And we have here 2 times 2, which is 4 times 3. But if you know the product of 12, the factors of 12, which is the greatest one, it's going to be 4 and 3, right? I'm not going to choose, for example, here 6 times 2. It's not going to help me, right? Because here I have 4 times 2. So I need to find another greatest common factor. So I'm going to choose 4 times 3 and 4 times 2. Let me give you the big picture here. Why we need GCF? Again, why we need GCF? Now, we need GCF also to cancel, to reduce fractions sometimes, right? Or maybe to, you want to find a common factor here between two numbers. So we can let's suppose I have like 8/12 here, and I want to cancel this fraction, right? We know that 8 also is 4 times 2, and we know that 12 is 4 times 3, right? And by canceling the greatest common factor, we're gonna come up with 2/3. So let's take another example here. Let's try to find the GCF, the greatest common factor of 24 and 30. 24 and 30, right? Now, if I want to use like the method number 1, we can see the factors. The factors of 24, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24, right? We know that 2 goes to 24 like 12 times, 3 goes to 24 like 8 times, right? 4 goes to 24 like 6 times, 6 goes to 24 like 4 times, and so on and so forth, right? That's how we find those factors. We can do the same thing for 30, right? For 30, we got 1, we got 2, we got 3, 4, no, we cannot divide by 4, but we can divide by 5 because 5 goes to 30 like 6 times. We can also divide by 6 because 6 goes to 30 like 5 times. We can divide by 10 because 10 goes to 30 like 3 times. And we got 15, and then we get 30, right? As we can see, the greatest common factor between 24 and 30 is going to be 6 right here, right? It's going to be 6, right? So the answer should be 6 here, right? Well, another way how you do it, which is kind of faster way, right? If we know that 24, we know that the 24 is a factor of 6 times 4, and we know that 30 is factor of 6 times 5, right? And we know that 6 here is going to be our greatest common factor. Again, we can use this if we have like a fraction and you want to reduce the fraction. It's going to help us as well, right? Let's suppose I have 24 over 30 and you want to simplify this fraction. So it's going to be 6 times 4 over 6 times 5, and we can just simplify 6 and 6, and we're going to have 4 over 5. That's going to be our answer. So the greatest common factor between 24 and 30, it's going to be 6. So I'll see you to the next video.